Hey guys, I hope this is working. Doesn't appear to be working from my YouTube page for some reason. Oh, wait, it's now working. Looks like. Looks like we're getting there. There we go. Okay, hi guys. Okay, just a moment. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I am very new to this whole live chat thing, but I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much if you are joining me, whether it's from Facebook or from fan fiction or from Twitter or wherever. It is an honor and beyond to be here. So thank you so much to all of you. For those of you who are on Facebook, I did mention a little earlier that I'm happy if you want to comment on Facebook. And of course, if you want to comment on here too, that's absolutely fine. And yeah, feel free to say hi or whatever. I'll definitely give you guys a shout out. I want to start off by thanking everyone for all of your support after everything that happened to my arm. Yeah, just in a little bit of pain at the moment, but all of your well wishes have definitely helped. So thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to me, here is the info that you need, although it is a little reversed, and so this is probably completely useless, so I'll just read it out to you. If you're looking to follow me on Twitter, that's where I will give all of my updates for all of my live chats. Just go to @MarkBraxton, or if you want to follow me on Facebook, go to Francois Thurston, that's FrancoisThurston. Or if you want to follow me on fanfic.net, my author username is FrancoisT, FrancoisT. The T is capitalized. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, we will be doing two chats, one obviously right now. The second one will be done tomorrow. That'll be 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. I've been so honored and humbled that this story has not only had success in Australia, but it's had international success. And that's why I'm doing the two chats to accommodate for the two time zones. So yeah, so thank you everyone for all your support. And I can definitely reveal that the head of Team Evil will be revealed next Monday. So that's going to be very exciting. I wonder who you think it is. I'm not going to give away anything in this video that you don't know about. Because, I mean, after all, what would be the point of, giving it away when I'm about to be releasing it? All right, now I did promise I'm going to get back to some comments from chapter 32 and chapter 33, so I'm going to do that. And I also went on Twitter and on Facebook and asked people if they have any questions that they want me to answer while at the live chat, so I'm definitely going to do that. I'm hoping everything is working out and that you can all see me. I know that some people like to come on chats and not leave comments. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to do that at all. But if you do want to say hi or whatever, yeah, as I said, feel free. I will definitely give you a shout out here or on Facebook. And if you do it on Facebook, please do it as a private message so that I hear it and I can definitely take note of that there. But again, just thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone who has commented or asked me questions or followed the book and read the book. It's been an amazing journey, so thank you very much. Okay, well, let's get on to the comments from chapter 32. Got a few comments here for 32 and for 33. And so I just thought it would be more fun to read it out on the air. So, okay, the first comment is from M. Dexter. And M. Dexter writes, for chapter 32, wow, what an exciting chapter. I love all the twists and turns your story has made. Jennifer was crazy to go in there by herself, but then again, parents will do anything to help their kids. And that's very true. And I think that was definitely evidenced by Jennifer going into the hole to see what she could do, not knowing at all what was in there. I think it's definitely a paternal instinct to do so. And thank you for your lovely compliment. I also love that you made Edward bad, although I did not guess him completely. I had an underlying feeling he had something to do with it. Yeah, some people thought Edward was on Team Evil, and some people thought he was on Team Good. And, I'll be honest, it took a little bit of time for me to figure out what direction I was going to go with this book. And putting Edward on Team Evil was a huge decision for me. And some people seemed a bit brokenhearted. Some people were happy with it, and some people weren't surprised. So, yeah, and waiting eagerly for the continuation. Well, we all are. So thank you for that, M. Dexter. I really appreciate it. Stacey S. Says, loving Fly Fly and the Spanish Princess, two very hilarious characters. Well, obviously referring to the nickname that Carmita gave Mika and that Mika gave Carmita. Yeah, definitely two very hilarious characters. And that's why I want to put them together in the book, despite the fact that, you know, we're obviously going through a tough time at the moment. Everyone seems to be. I wanted to get some sort of comedy in there, some sort of lightheartedness, because, you know, you don't want a book to be serious all the time. And certainly Kamita and Mika provide that little comic relief. So thank you for that, Stacey S. Took them long enough to notice Rick was missing. Yeah, well, that's true. It did. Took them quite a few chapters to realize. I mean, obviously Kamita received the text, and so we all knew what Kamita had received as far as that really terrible SMS was, you know, we knew she'd received that, so we knew something was happening. But other than that, Rick hadn't made an appearance, and obviously we now know why. But yeah, absolutely right. You know, they didn't realize it at all. Loving the Debbie and Jenny team. Go Team Debbie. Oh my gosh, I'm getting ships here all of a sudden. You know, people are being shipped, so that's lovely, even if it's just in a team. So yes, go Team Debbie all the way. You know, they're a great team. They're both very strong characters, both Jenny and Debbie. And so, yeah, definitely. When I was coming up with, you know, each team when they were going not only into the quadrants, but when they were you know, in the teams of two or whatever, or wherever I was putting them in, when we had those groups back in the day of like the techie group and the you know, the strategist group and everything, search group and all of the teams, I put them all together for reasons, because they all seem to everyone on each team, no matter what team they were on and at what time they were on that team, seemed to bring out the best in each other. And it was a lot of fun writing those. So thank you, Stacey S, for your comment. I really do appreciate it. The next comment is from Reclama. I hope I'm saying your name right there, Reclama. If I'm not, please let me know. Reclama writes, Edward is one of the traitors? I'm in shock. I really thought he was a good guy. It's true, you can never trust anyone. Yes, well, as I said before, it was a shock to a lot of people. But sometimes, you know, when you have these whodunit sort of books, and, you know, even on TV, when you have whodunit shows or whodunit films or whatever, sometimes the best people are the ones that you least expect. And that's why I kept saying in the book, you know, whether it was in the you know, in the headers or in the headers or the footers, or even throughout the book, if you read between the lines, don't trust anyone. And certainly Andy is finding that out now, that he can't trust anyone. Obviously, Andy doesn't know that Edward is a traitor, but he will find that out very, very soon, I can assure you. But yeah, don't trust anyone at all. And so, yeah. So thank you very much for that, Reclama. As again, I hope I said your name correctly. So thank you very much for your comment. And last one that I've picked out for chapter 32, there were quite a few, but this is the last one that I picked out, was from Halo22, who said, loved the part with Andy and Kamita speaking Spanish to one another. It's also great that Mika didn't know Spanish, so that everyone knew what she was saying. Thank you for adding this element of Spain to the book. Well, you are very welcome, Halo22. Very, very welcome. I love Spanish culture. I'm not Spanish myself. I am part Dutch and part English. My mother is Dutch. My father comes from an English background, and I'm in Australia at the moment. But I love everything about Spanish culture and the language and all of that, and so I was very happy to put that in there. And I've also been feel like I'm a very multicultural sort of person, and so I wanted to put in a few different cultures into the book, and that's why the Spanish culture as well as the language came up into the book, and I'm glad that you appreciate that. So thank you, Halo22. That's really awesome. Okay, so we've got now some comments from chapter 33, so very excited to read those now. So first up, we have Sammy D. So Sammy D, thank you for your comment. And Sammy D writes, everyone seems to be picking on Debbie in one way or another. I love her character and I'm surprised at this, but I must admit I love the part with Kamita and lists. Very funny. Well, yes, Debbie and her list with Kamita. Kamita certainly didn't seem to appreciate that, did she? No, certainly, again, just wanted to provide some humor into the story. It does turn very dark towards the end, and so I felt that having some humor would really help. As far as people picking on Debbie Semi, I got to say, if anyone can take it, Debbie can. But you're right, people do seem to be picking on her. She has some idiosyncrasies and ways about her that are different to people like Kamita and even others have noticed it. And of course, Mika, her own son, even admitted, 24 hours with her, I can understand where you're coming from. So, she is a little bit different. But that's just the way it goes. So thank you for your comment. Okay, Alice254 writes, something intrigued me about Edward's comment to Debbie and Jenny when he said, I hold nothing against your son. I'm wondering if that means that he is actually undercover for the good guys. Great chapter again, Francois. Oh, thank you, Alice254. I really appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. I hold nothing against your son. That's something that Edward said. And yeah, I can understand how you would be intrigued by that, because it's interesting when you're being held captive and your captor says, well, I don't actually hold any grudges against him. So it's more like, if you're to take him for what he's saying, it's more like he's doing this for the sake of, that this is what he's been told to do. But who knows? I mean, again, never trust anyone. But thank you so much for your comment, Alice254. I really appreciate it. I'm loving all of your comments. You all make my day. So thank you so much. Like, seriously, the comments I'm reading out now, it's like not even a quarter of the amount of comments that I'm receiving every week from you guys. And really, I just couldn't thank you guys enough. So thank you all. Okay, Lisa KB writes, I am freaking out for everyone. Since they are now trapped and Jay is gone, will they all be captured now? Also, what effect will what happened to Jay? Oh, also, what effect will what happened to Jay have on Andy's psyche? Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're all trapped. We found that out last week. There's no way out. And even though B got through the gate, he made sure that no one else did. So they are trapped. Are they going to be captured? Well, time will tell. I'm not going to give that away. It said no spoilers here. But what effect will it have with what happened to Jay have on Andy's psyche? Oh, it's a very good question, Lisa. It's obviously a tough situation for Jay. And, it's hard to imagine what he's going through unless you've gone through it before. This is a story, obviously, and I haven't experienced anything as big as this, so I haven't been in that situation, but you can definitely empathize for Andy being in that situation, that's for sure. So thank you for your comment, and you will see the impact that it has on Andy within the next 2 chapters. And a little warning to all of you out there, there are only 2 more chapters left, so there'll be one coming out on Monday, and that will be everything's going to be answered. As I said to you, we're going to know who the leader of Team Evil is, we're going to know who's working for Team Evil, the who, what, where, why, when, everything. You are going to be hopefully completely satisfied by the time you get through the next chapter, and then there'll be one more after that to wrap everything up. And then I have a question for all of you. I am considering writing a 3rd book in the series. I do want to keep writing no matter what. You guys have inspired me to keep going, and I thank you so much for that. Really, thank you. So I will keep going. I'm probably going to take a 2-month, sabbatical, but I do want to get back into it. So my question to you guys is, do you want a 3rd book that continues along in the series, or would you like to hear something else? I'm very open to suggestions to hear what you guys have to say. yeah, so, let me know. And if we do a third book, whilst it will continue, Andy and Jay won't be the two main characters. So I'm going to switch it around. It will continue. They will feature in it, but they won't be the two main characters. So what do you think? Let me know, whether here on the chat or, anytime really. Just let me know. As I said before, you can write to me on Facebook or on here or on Twitter or even on the fanfic website. You can do it now. You can do it after the video. I mean, I know some people are probably watching this delayed. That's absolutely fine. Just let me know what you think. And yeah, more than happy to accommodate. Okay, next comment. We've still got a few to get through. So, Moscow Monkey. Hello, Moscow Monkey. Okay, Moscow Monkey says, loving Lauren. You really write true to her character and the coffee obsession is bang on. Thank you so much for that, Moscow Monkey. Yep, absolutely loving Lauren and her coffee obsession. So thank you very much for that. Okay, M. Dexter again writes, another excellent chapter for chapter 33. I am so mesmerized by this story and I'm still trying to figure out what happens next. Well, yes, I think a lot of people are. And I'm loving that you guys are loving this. Seriously, it's awesome. When I started writing Cold in the Rain, I wondered how it would be received. But I received a lot of great advice from some other writers who said, it's not about how people receive it, it's about what the book and writing the book does for you. And I think that's the best bit of advice I could ever be given, because it was about, doing it for myself and having this creative outlet that I've always had and always wanted to use. And I'm just really happy that you guys have all embraced it. It's really... I can't stop saying it. I'm really overwhelmed, and I know I write it in the header of every single chapter that I'm overwhelmed and I appreciate all that, but really, you guys are just awesome, and it's way more than I ever could have expected. So thank you all. And M. Dexter, you comment like every chapter, so a big shout out to you, M. Dexter. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, if you're here, let me know. And if not, I think you're from America, so you're probably going to be in tomorrow's chat. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there if you're not here today. Okay, the next comment is from Awakening 1991, who writes, I don't know if anyone else has told you this, but I love the Spanish convos. Oh, another one. Some people may not get the one in this chapter, but as you said, go to Google Translate. An engaging chapter once again, Francois, captivate as always. Oh, thank you, Awakening. I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. So I realized that in the last chapter, in chapter 32, think, well, not the one I just put up, one before, that what was being said in Spanish was being translated because obviously Mika doesn't speak Spanish, and so Andy was able to translate. But in chapter 33, it wasn't translated, and that's why I gave you the warning. Have Google Translate on standby, because if you do, you will be able to work it out really quickly. They really don't say that much, and if you are unable to work it out, basically Kamita is saying that she's lucky that she has good legs to run with, and Andy is saying you grab Rain when we get to the end and I'll grab Mika because they're running behind, and she says okay, I'll do that, and that's really it. So if you weren't able to work it out, I've given that away. That's the only spoiler you're going to get, or not spoiler, but that's the only thing I will give you that you may not know. Okay, two more. Yora15, I think it's Yora or Yora, Y-O-R-A 15, says, so let down by B being on Team Evil. Just when I thought he would end up being a good character, he goes and does all that. I really feel for Andy and for Jay. Yeah, thank you, Yora15. People were surprised by what happened with Edward. They seemed very surprised, but no one seemed as surprised with Edward as they were with B. B was huge. There were a lot of questions, and this is what is so great for a writer, because you're thinking, okay, who am I going to put on Team Evil, and who am I going to put on Team, good or hero or whatever you want to call it. And everyone was asking, oh, where's B, and when's he going to make another appearance? And oh, some would say, oh, I think he's evil, and others would say, oh, he's not evil, he's good. And so yeah, it was so much fun revealing that, and I wanted a big reveal before before we revealed who the head was. And so revealing B, I knew would be the best thing to do and the best way to go. And I'm so happy I did that. And you guys had all different responses across the board, but generally I think people appreciated it. And yeah, definitely feel sorry for Andy and for Jay. It was a horrible situation in the end, but that's what happens sometimes in books. So read on, and we'll see what happens from here. The last comment we have for the last chapter I put up is from Raven24. Raven24 writes, on the edge of my seat for the next chapter. Have a few theories in mind. Can't wait to see if I'm right. Well, thank you for that, Raven24. I really appreciate it. If you have a theory, let me know. Like comment below if you're watching this delayed, or if you're watching it live, comment to me in the chat or on Facebook or wherever. I would love to know your thoughts and your theories. Definitely, it'd be great to chat about that. So thank you very much, Raven24. So yeah, I just want to take this opportunity again to say that there is going to be another live chat tomorrow. So if you are watching this delayed, don't fear. I do realize that people read this book all around the world, which again is so humbling. I did not expect that at all. So it's just incredible. And therefore, that's why I did two chats, one at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time and one at 8 p.m. New York time, which is 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So if you couldn't make it to this one, I hope you can make it to the next one, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, to keep up to date with everything. I do I've done a few live chats now. This is the first for Cold in the Rain. I haven't done any for a book before, so this is really interesting. But yeah, please follow me on Twitter at Mark Braxton, or on Facebook, Francois Thurston. I leave everything on there. So especially when I put updates onto fanfic, I do post on Facebook and let you guys know, because I know that some of you go to fanfic only to read Cold in the Rain, and so you don't follow the book or follow me as an author, and I absolutely understand that. That's fine. But so I do post it on Facebook. And as far as chats go, I post the link on Facebook and on Twitter. So I do both. Well, I have some questions here now. I asked over the weeks if you guys had any questions, and I was blown away by the amount of questions that you guys had. I really shouldn't be, because you guys are just amazing anyway. But you definitely came back with some questions for me. I really appreciate that, and I'm definitely going to answer them for you now. But I will say this, between now and tomorrow's chat, if you have any further comments or any further questions or whatever, let me know through the avenues I've said, Facebook, Twitter, here, comment below if you're not watching it live. And I will definitely get to them in the next chat for sure. So let's get on to the questions. Okay, Jacob asks the first question, and Jacob's question is, if you could have an actor or actress playing Jay, Andy, Lauren, and Mika, who would they be and why? Well, I assume you mean a famous actor or actress, because if you didn't, I would say I would want to play the role of Andy. A lot of things that Andy does sort of centers around me and what I either do or what I would do in that situation. So I would want to play Andy. If it was ever picked up as a film, which Dare to Dream Miss Woods, but if it was ever picked up as a film, I would love to play Andy. For Jay, look, it's a toss-up for me. I did have Randy Harrison in mind, but I think really anyone that's sort of that beach boy, laid back surfer dude sort of character would definitely fit for Jay. So anyone like that. Lauren, I cannot go past Lauren Graham. When I wrote this book, I wrote it with Lauren Graham from Gilmore Girls. You may know her as Lorelai. I wrote it with her in mind. So someone picked up on that with the coffee remark, and hence the coffee and everything like that, and the way she talks and everything. Definitely, I would love to grab Lauren Graham and say, I have a perfect role for you, and it's even your actual name, Lauren. So yeah, Lauren Graham for Lauren. For Mika, again, I really wouldn't want to be swayed too much with this. I would have to say Hal Sparks. Hal Sparks is my Mika all the way. He's well, Andy / my dad. So yeah. He's not my dad, obviously, in real life. But yeah, he would be the perfect guy to play Andy's dad. So I would have to say Hal Sparks for that. So thank you, Jacob, for your question. Okay, Sophie asks, I love Cold in the Rain, but can't quite categorize it. What genre would you give this book? That's a very good question, Sophie. I think there are a couple of genres, and the reason for that is because I started off thinking the book would go one way and we went a completely different way. So I would say it's a romance whodunit sort of book. So it's like 2 in 1. So obviously it's a romance, about Andy and Jay and, of course, other characters as well. But also a comedy, I guess you could say. But also a whodunit, especially towards the end, all trying to work out who the leader of Team Evil is and all that. So I would say a romance whodunit novel. I hope that answers your question, Sophie, and thank you for that. Okay, Mason asks, what motivated you to write Cold in the Rain? And that's a very good question. I have to be honest. I was talking to a friend of mine about a book that I'd written a while ago called The Power of Three, which is another series that I was working on. May go back to it, may not. We'll see. And I uploaded it onto a website. To cut a long story short, I uploaded it onto a website, and the website crashed. So I lost it, and I was so upset about it. And I wondered if it was on fanfic. So I went back to fanfic, and it was something like 5-10 years, whatever, a good amount of time later, after I wrote the prequel, Fighting for No Reward. And when I got on there, I found what I wanted. But then I came over Fighting for No Reward, and there were so many comments about everyone, liking the book. And there was another one I did, The Way It Should Have Ended, which is similar. It was a one chapter, once off. Comments on that one as well. That I thought, you know what, how great would it be to pick this up 5 years later and just see where it goes? You never know. And so I started writing it. And so that was my motivation, just seeing the responses I was getting from the other ones. I thought, well, you know what, I love writing anyway. I think it's a great outlet. I'm very sort of creative person culturally. So it's great to have that creative outlet for sure, especially when I'm stressed. I love to write. And so that's what motivated me to write it, was just seeing the response from the prequel and, going on to this one. And this one has received even more, comments and praises and stuff like that. So it's just amazing how it's grown even from its predecessor, which is fantastic. So thanks, Mason, for that question. Adam, when did you start writing, and what was the first book you wrote? Now, that is a very good question, Adam, because I'm going to have to search my mind for when I first started writing. I would probably say I started first writing in primary school. We had creative writing time or story writing time or whatever you want to call it. And I loved it. It was my favorite period in primary school, where the teacher would say, okay, now we're going to do story writing or creative writing. And I would just sit there and put, back then, grey lead pencil, because primary school, grey lead pencil to paper, and start writing about whatever was coming to mind and just making up these stories. And it was just so much fun. Actually wrote was The Power of Three: Destiny for Something Special. That was the first one I wrote. And yeah, had a lot of fun with that. I ended up writing, like 6 books, I think 6 or 7 books in the series of The Power of Three. And I was telling you about that crash. I lost quite a lot of them, which was very disheartening. And I ended up only having 2 or 3 that I could recover. And as I say, it was very disheartening. But yeah, that was the first book I wrote and had a lot of fun with that. Very different to this one. That was very supernaturally based. Back then, I am still now, but back then I was very into something like that, like Charmed and so forth. And I was sort of loosely based on Charmed, with these friends who were the new Power of Three rather than sisters. It was new friends. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to write. So yeah, hope that answers your question, Adam. Okay. Tim asks, do you have a writing schedule or do you just wing it? A good question. It's a bit of both. I got to be honest. So I don't just, well, actually, that's not true for the first 5 chapters. So the first 5 chapters I just typed away and literally just, because I started writing, believe it or not, I started writing Cold in the Rain in January of last year. So it's now been, what, 13 months, a year and 1 month. But I started uploading it 5.5 months ago. So when I started writing it in January and was just going, oh, I wonder where this will go. We'll see what happens. I basically just started, where it leaves off when Andy's going back home to New Haven and just going through the motions. And that was all that I had as a plan. I knew I wanted to introduce Lauren into the book because she was going to be the one that would be, the strong person next to Andy and be there for him. And so, chapter 1, started writing it out and just went with the flow, and it was a lot of fun. But then when I got to about chapter 5, chapter 6, then I started doing plot outlines and just outlines, rough ideas, made a graph of an idea for a chapter, and then from there wrote with the idea in mind of what I was going to do. But I must admit, this next chapter, I don't have any plot ideas written down. I know what I'm doing. I know what I want to convey, but I haven't written anything down at all. So I'm going to be not winging it because I know who's on the team and I know who the leader of Team Evil is. But the plan for this is just more answering those very important who, what, where, why, when questions. And as I say, that's all going to be answered. So that'll be answered in the next chapter. So thank you for that, Tim. I hope that answers your question. I didn't go too far off topic, hopefully. Okay, Benjamin asks, do you have an outline prepared for the book or you just write it as it comes to mind? Oh, well, it's a very similar question to the last one. And I think I just answered that one. So, yeah, as I said, it does vary. And it's, oh, sorry. So, okay, first, do I have an outline prepared for the book? No, I did not come into the book with an outline prepared. I did not come in here saying, oh, Andy will get back home and Jay's going to come there and they're going to have a struggle with their relationship and Mika's going to go in hospital and then, Andy's going to spend his time over in Pittsburgh and there's going to be the court case and then they're going to go back home and no. All I knew was that I wanted to continue the story where I left off. And so definitely did not start with an outline. And that's because of experience I've had with other books like The Power of Three, like I mentioned earlier, where I had this idea where I went, okay, beginning, middle, end, this is what's going to happen. And I felt very restricted and very uncomfortable. And then when I got to about book, I think it was 4 or 5, I actually ended up doing a 2-parter because the first 3, 4, whatever it was, were just, even though it continued, it started the story and ended the story. By the time I got to the end of book 4, I didn't want to stop writing. But I felt like the book, as far as the amount of words and chapters and all that, had come to an end. So I basically had as it to be continued, I set 2, and I realized that the less I plan, the more fun I can have with the book and the better the book is going to be. And so, as I said, I might do a small outline for a chapter just to have a rough idea, but I will never plan the book from start to finish because you never know where it's going to go and you can have much more fun that way. So I hope that answers your question, Benjamin. Okay, Milena, M-I-L-E-N-A. I hope I'm saying your name right as Milena. If I'm not, I'm sorry. Please let me know and I will correct that. What was the toughest thing to write about in the series? Well, actually, there were 2 things. So thank you so much for that question. It gives me the opportunity to talk about it. There were 2 very tough things to write in the series. The first one was the assault on Andy at the coffee shop, at the diner. That was very tough for me to write. One of the biggest issues that, that's a double-edged sword because it's good and it's bad for me is when I write a book, I live in the book. It's not, me writing as an observer. I feel like I'm actually in the book. And so writing it was so emotional for me, and I actually felt close to tears. I'm sorry to admit that, but it's true. I felt really close to tears. And so it was very tough to write, but it needed to be done for the next few chapters. It needed to be done so that, you know, we could go on to have the court case and all that, and the drama could start unfolding. Because up until that point, yeah, dramatic things had happened, but I really wanted to up the ante. So that was really tough to write. So that was one of the two tough things. But it comes second to the very last thing that you read in chapter 33. Writing that scene, because I call them scenes, writing that scene at the end where B is through the gate with Jay, and I can't even say the words, I can only type them, describing to Andy and everyone else what he's going to do with Jay, or more with Jay's body. That was very tough to write. B is an insidious character, and that's why I needed to go there. It would have been too simple to just say, okay, he's out of the gate, he's in the limo, and he's going to take Jake to the hospital, the end. You know, no. And B is very much a smartass as well. So, you know, I had to have something in there that would work. And that's how that came about. But it was very tough to write. And that's why some people wonder why I don't go further than I have been. And that's why I don't go further, because I just can't. I really just can't. It's very tough to write those things. So thank you, Melina, for asking the question and letting me discuss those tough things to write, because they are very tough things to write. On the other hand, there have been some chapters that I've really enjoyed writing. Not chapters, but there have been moments that I really enjoyed writing, like the court cases. They were so much fun. Yes, I live in Australia, but I have a fascination, like I wrote with Andy, I have a fascination of US federal law. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. So to have the experience of writing out the first one, where it was just, you know, setting the trial date. I don't know what you call that. I'm having a mental blank here, which is sad, because I just said I have a fascination with US federal law. And then writing the actual court case itself was so much fun. Did I do research? Yes, I did. But I did research as I was going along. Like, for example, when Mel questions Andy and says, oh, yeah, Andy, has anyone told you if it's legal or not to work in another state if you don't come from that state? I wrote that question and I went, hang on, wait, I don't even know if this is true. So I went online and did my research and realized, no, yep, in New Haven, and what I wrote is true. In New Haven, apparently, you can work there even if you don't live there, provided you do file your taxes properly. So that's something I learned from the law, thanks to the research for the book. That was just so much fun to write. Yeah, there were a lot of fun things to write that I really probably don't remember too much. I loved the list scene, as someone was referring to, you know, moments not too long ago, when Carmita's at the shop and, you know, she's looking out for, what is it, Jakaru sauce and ketchup and going, oh, what is this, you know? And then she gets a text and, like, Carmita is such a diva that it was just appropriate for me to have her text noise, or whatever, her SMS notification be an applause sound. It's so Kamita. And yeah, so that was fun. That whole shop scene was a lot of fun to do. And yeah, even some scenes with Rick, like Rick with Svedancha, was really fun to write. Between having this really nice, well-mannered guy, at least for the first part of the book, really nice, well-mannered guy meeting this very hard, stern Russian, you know, help sort of thing. What do you call it? Housekeeper, very stern in her way. Very interesting for that dynamic, writing that dynamic and putting it together. But also the dynamic between Rick and Bryce. And that's another big thing as well that we revealed in the last chapter. A lot of people were wondering who Bryce was. I'm so happy I finally revealed this to you guys, because every chapter it was like, who is Bryce? People would ask, who is Bryce? Or Bryce is this person. No, Bryce is this person. Oh, wait, I don't know. Is this or this or whatever? And I'm so happy I finally revealed it. I knew Bryce was either going to be Edward or B. I had a thought at one stage to make Bryce, what's his name, John, Rick's friend. But then I realized I was like, oh, John, and it's perfect, and no one suspects him. But then I went, oh, hang on, wait, this doesn't work because John is Rick's best friend. So that's how. But yeah, and then in the end, it had to be B. And I'm so happy that it was. And Kamita, we had to have that moment, or I had to have that moment where Kamita says, Bryce, what are you doing there? He goes, wait, who's Bryce? That's Bryce. No, that's not Bryce. That's B. So that we could reveal this is Bryce. This is the person that you didn't know who it was, that Jay knew. And different people thought different things with Bryce. Some people thought it was B. Some people thought it was Edward. Some people thought it was a female in a costume, which, hey, it's possible. I'm not going to, say no on that. But not in this case, obviously. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to write that too. And you guys really seemed to receive that quite well. It was a varied, but everyone seemed to have a reaction to that, which was really good and was really what I was hoping for. Okay, next couple of questions. And we've got about 10 minutes left in this chat, so really have to move this along. The next question is from Nora, and Nora asks, did you have multiple endings in mind, or did you just have the one? And that is a very good question, Nora. Thank you for that. All these questions, this is why I'm picking them. They're all so good. I didn't have multiple, I didn't have multiple endings as such, but I did have multiple options. So I did absolutely sit there in spare moments or lay awake at night in bed going, okay, I got a Team Evil that I got to make, and I got to create the head of Team Evil. Who's it going to be? And believe me, that was so much fun. And there were days where I went back and forth going, okay, it's going to be this person. No, it's going to be this person. No, it's going to be this person. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Go back to this one. No, actually, what about this one? And I went back and forth. So no, I didn't have alternate endings as such, but I did swap back and forth for who I thought would be the main villain. In saying that, there are no plot holes with the main villain. The people who I was going back and forth with who could be the main villain, it makes sense. It would have made sense if it was any of them. So yeah, not so much multiple endings. Just had the one ending, but did have multiple options and possibilities. Actually, wait, I will admit one thing. I had a possible different ending as far as if someone would die. I won't reveal if someone's going to die or not just yet because that's still up in the air. But I did think for a long time, do I kill someone off? Do I not kill someone off? And I asked you guys what you thought about it. And most of you actually came back and said, we're happy either way. Sometimes, sometimes the book needs a death. But, even if you don't, it's fine. And, some of you said, I prefer you not to, but even if you do, it's fine. So I know you guys were happy with that either way. And I gave a lot of thought to what I was going to do with that. And I came up with a decision, and you will find out if I did or if I didn't by the end of the book. So, yeah, thank you for that. Okay, Andrew asks, who are your favorite authors? Okay, I have a few, probably not enough time to get through it, but Rochelle Mead, I believe her name is, she wrote the Vampire Academy books. Didn't like the film. Really did not like the film. I almost detested the film because they almost made too much light of the film. So if you don't like the film Vampire Academy, please read the book before you judge it. The books to me are much darker and I really love them. J.K. Rowling, obviously, very popular author. Enid Blyton growing up, loved her. Started with The Faraway Tree to The Wishing Chair. Then in my later years to The Famous Five. I went through quite a few with Enid Blyton. Morris Gleitzman and Paul Jennings growing up as well. There were quite a few different ones. So quite a few even more than that. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question, Andrew. Logan asks, good reviews are nice. How do you deal with bad reviews? Well, thank you for asking. And my honest opinion is I am more than happy to get a bad review. Some people really hate bad reviews, but I love them because I think it gives you a chance to be critiqued and to work on some issues that people may have with the book. I love getting positive reviews. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I want just negative reviews, but I love it when people say, I didn't like that you did this, or I wish you'd done that, or whatever. Because then, it allows me to think about it and go, okay, well, maybe this wasn't for me, but maybe it could be an idea for the rest of the book. So it's great. I love criticism, and I find all criticism to be constructive. There's always a way to make criticism constructive. So I love bad reviews and good reviews. So bring them on. Thanks, Logan. Sorry to be rushing through this, but we've got to stop soon. Marion asks, do you have advice for others who write or who are looking to get into writing? Well, yeah. Obviously, I don't have all day, but if I did, I would have quite a bit. But I would just say, if you are passionate about writing, go for it. That's advice number one. Just go for it. I had so many hesitations coming into writing this one. Yes, as I said, I wanted to and I had the motivation to do it. But prior to actually putting pen to paper, so to say, or, fingers to keyboard, I had a lot of hesitation. And I actually spoke to a few authors on the website and, admitted that and said, look, I quite a bit of a hesitation, don't know if this is the right idea or not, or whatever. But they told me, all of them said, you know what, just go for it. And it was the best idea, the best bit of advice I could be given. And it's the best advice I can give to you guys is, if you love to write, whether you think you are good, whether you think you are bad, whether you think you're something in between, if you love to write, go for it. Just start somewhere, start anywhere, and just have fun with it. My next bit of advice would be, if you want feedback, post on fanfic.net. I'm not just shouting out to them because that's where I do it. I'm shouting out to them and telling you go there, because people who are on fanfic.net love and appreciate books. That's why they're there. They want to read these books. They want to read these books about, really whatever. And they will review if they love your book. So it gives you a chance to read through what your readers think and work with that. My final bit of advice would be, start off wherever you're starting off, but just, find a way to have some action in the book. And by action, I don't mean grab a gun and start a gun war. I mean, this is not, Die Hard or something like that, at least not for me. It might be for you. But I mean, just have something happen. Have something dramatic actually happen in the story that people can clench onto, whether it's the death of a loved one, a mystery, someone cheats, there are secrets. Have some sort of plot twist, something dramatic that happens that has either your readers guessing or sympathizing or just really hooking them in. As far as we really don't have a lot of time left, so I can't say much else other than that. So I hope that answers your question, and to anyone else. But yeah, back to number one, and I'll always go back to number one. Just, if you want to write, just go ahead and do it. Just do it. Right. Please do, because believe me, if anyone can tell you, I can tell you that if you have the passion for it, the best thing you can do is just go ahead and do it. Because the rewards are just, I can certainly tell you, amazing. I've been so emotional so many times with all the reviews I've had. So again, so many thank yous to you guys. Okay, got 3 more questions and then we're going to end up, guys. Okay. Oliver asks, did anything not make the book that was originally going to? Yeah, there were some things that didn't make the book. And I'm trying to think of what they were. But there certainly were things that didn't make it in. Yeah, I was going to actually have Andy and Rick get into a relationship and really test the water of Jay and Andy. Like, I was going to really keep that going. But, in the end, I really felt the point was made. So I cut that. And sometimes, you just have to cut things. So I definitely was going to do that. I was going to do a lot more with Carmita than I did, a lot more. But it didn't happen. I was going to find Lauren a partner, which I still may. I don't know if I will, but I really was going to find her a partner. I found Rain a boyfriend. So I was definitely going to do that, but that didn't happen. Yeah, and there were other things as well that were cut. So thank you for that question, Oliver. All right, Marika, what is your favorite book and what is your favorite phrase in life? Oh, goodness. Favorite book, it's so hard to choose. I don't know if I can give you one. I wish I could. Gosh, it's tough. I don't know. I can't give you a favorite one. But, there are many. I'll answer the second one. Your favorite phrase in life? My favorite phrase in life is, and this is actually a quote from a song from one of my favorite singers, but I learned it early on in life and I still believe it to this day. And that is, we are all of us, we are all born to try. In other words, we're all born to make mistakes in this life, and provided we learn from it, making those mistakes is what helps us to get on in life. Go out there, give everything a go, try everything. Because if you don't try it, you're not going to know. So that's my big philosophy in life. We were born to try. We were born to give everything a go. So thank you, Marika. Okay, we got two more. I thought it was one, but we got two more. Okay, Natazia asks, what do you want to get out of this book, and was there a main goal or purpose behind it? What I want to get out of this book is the feeling that we can put books out there that have gay relationships in them, but that aren't slasher books. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, slasher books are books that can be quite graphic, sort of gay, really in your face when there's a sex scene sort of books. And for me, I mean, okay, I love reading gay books, but when it gets really graphic, that turns me off, and I just want to skip through that and get to the main plot. So I wanted to put a book out there where, yeah, okay, people have sex and get romantic and whatever, all that, but I made that an insinuation rather than anything else. I also want to put it out there that it's normal. We are now in 2016, and in Western culture, if you don't view people being in gay relationships as normal, I can only wonder why. And, it's fine. Everyone can have their own opinion. Anyone who subscribes to my YouTube channel knows that I always say that. I have another live chat that I do called Your Opinion, and I love that everyone has their own opinion. But I feel like it's the norm now. Back in the day, it was, oh, everyone's against it. Then it was like this big issue. But I feel like now it's, even though we still don't have gay marriage in Australia, and seriously, we are so far behind. I mean, just ask the Dutch. As I said, my mum is Dutch. Ask the Dutch. We are so far behind. But I feel like it's the norm. And so I wanted to get out there a book that showed gay relationships as just being normal. There was no question about, oh my God, why are these two guys together? Oh my God, why are these two ladies together? No, they just are, and it's just accepted. So I'm happy I was able to do that. And to raise awareness of things. As you know from one of the last couple of chapters, one of the characters has AIDS. So I wanted to raise some awareness of AIDS by putting that in there. And just, other little things, that I wanted to just get out there. Like, for example, Lauren, as I say, haven't given Lauren a guy yet to match her up with. Lauren is straight. But you know what? She's an independent and happy person, even though she's single. There's a great line that Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City says, and it's an acronym actually, SAF, single and fabulous. Just because you don't have a partner doesn't mean you're not fabulous. And I wanted to put that out there, especially with Lauren, and say, you know what, not everyone has to have a partner. So you can have a partner that's gay, straight, bi, or you can have no partner. It doesn't matter. Relationships at the end of the day are what you make of them. So that's what I want to put out there. So thank you, Natasha, for that. And yeah, hope that answers those two questions. And Ella is the last question. What's the best way to keep up to date with your writing? Okay, well, yep, absolutely. Add me to Twitter at Mark Braxton. Add me to Facebook, Francois Thurston. If you want, search me, add me to Fanfic. You can follow an author and you can follow a book. A lot of people don't know you can just follow a book if you want. And I have some people that do follow the book, and I believe you get an email if you follow the book. I don't know. Someone please confirm that below. But those are the three ways. So look, we've got to wrap this up because I've already gone 5 minutes over time, but thank you. I've noticed there have been a lot of people that have been here throughout the chat. You know, people haven't really been saying hi or anything, but that's absolutely fine. You've been here and I appreciate that. And people are still here now. So thank you guys. I don't know if you're having like problems writing anything or whatever. If you are having problems, I'll just let you know for the next one. You cannot comment on a mobile on YouTube, but you can comment online through, if you just go to the link on YouTube, you can comment online. Excuse me. Also, as I said, the option is to do it on Facebook. So before the next chat, if you want to add me on Facebook and then leave me a comment there during a live chat, I will definitely get to it. So as I say, in your opinion, and I will say that certainly here as I sign off, what did you think of the chat? What do you think of the book? Comment below, let me know. And yeah, add me to Twitter, Facebook, whatever. I've said the details enough times. I don't have to say them again. Don't forget, guys, we do have another chat coming up tomorrow, 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I'm very excited about that one as well because 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time is 8 p.m. in New York and in Toronto, I believe, in Canada. So really we get that American-Canadian border at 8 p.m. at that time. So I understand if you didn't make it today, that if this is not your time zone, I get that. That's why we're doing two different ones. Let me know what you thought of the chat. If you want to have more chats, whatever, I'm happy to do it. Just let me know. Thank you so, so much once again. I really cannot thank you enough for all the comments that you've given to me, whether you come to the next chat or not. Or, you know, if you comment again in the book or not, really a heartfelt thank you so much. It is you guys and you guys alone that keep me going. And try not to get emotional. And you guys have just been so amazing. Thank you again for your well wishes for my arm. I really do hope it's a speedy recovery. And the amount of people out there that are wishing me well, that are praying or doing whatever they're doing, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it all. And for commenting on the book, really, again, I know I sound like a broken record, but guys, this is just me and how genuinely grateful I am to each and every one of you, because I could not do this without you guys. So I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow at our chat, 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. New York time. I love you all, Cold in the Rain fans, and I look forward to bringing you the next chapter when you find out who the head of Team Evil is. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.